Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Wrestling IQ 101. When I'm not hosting our podcast, I'm usually at collarandelbowbrand.com. That's right, Collar and Elbow is the only place that combines wrestling with street attire. And I know what you're thinking, I want to look fashionable too, and I also want to save 10%. So head over to collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code WIQ101 and look fashionable and save some money. And now, on with the show.
Hey, it's the kid, Vinny Pacifico here, and you're listening to Wrestling IQ 101.
Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew, and you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today I'm joined by Lukas Finnegan. How's it going, man?
I'm pretty good, dude. How's it going?
Man, doing pretty well myself.
Sweet.
So Lukas, wrestling and music, man. That's kind of how people can define you, right?
Yeah, I'm Diet Chris Jericho.
Diet Chris Jericho.
Yeah, because I do everything, but just not as good. I do all the same shit.
So, Diet Chris Jericho, so what is it about music, and what kind of genre of music do you like the most?
Dude, it's, growing up, I was very protected by my parents, so, my mom would always listen to, Motown and 50s stuff, and old school, rock and roll, and my dad was very country, my parents met at a country bar.
Really?
Oh, yeah, so I would always listen to country and stuff. And, old country, too. Just, real depressing. Real slow stuff. And then, the upbeat Motown stuff with my mom. And then, they would buy me CDs of, my mom would buy me CDs of, Backstreet Boys. And, I had a cassette of, the first Hanson album and stuff like that.
That's a great album.
And I remember specifically it was one vacation. I was on vacation with my brother and his friend Dan. And... his friend Dan let me listen to the Black Album by Metallica.
Okay.
And from then I was hooked on metal and stuff. And then I just started and that was also when kind of the internet was coming into being a thing. And my brother was one of the first people to, I think, find Napster when it was made.
Okay.
So my brother started downloading a lot of old metal songs and stuff. So I started getting into it that way. And then from then on, I've just been in metal bands, hardcore bands. I was in a band called... First band was a band called Augment. It was in high school, and it was a lot of punky old school hardcore stuff. And then I was in a band called Saints. That was a lot heavier. And then I was in a bunch of other bands, and then I ended up in a band called One Brick Down, which did very well. And we played for 4 or 5 years. We were doing Starland shows and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
We were doing a lot of big shows. The biggest show we did was Hatebreed and Whitechapel and all these heavy bands, and that was the best show we ever played. And then they kind of fell off with motivation. You know what I mean? For me, music's always been the goal, 100%. So when I was in One Brick Down, and everybody kind of started putting it as a side thing and kind of just being we'll record some songs, we'll write some stuff, we'll write an album or something like that, but we're not going to go on tour, we're not going to try and make it, we're not, I'm just dude, what are we doing this for then? So when I left One Brick Down, I had always said I wanted to get into wrestling. And growing up, and even in high school, my first band, one of my best friends was this dude, Nick Gregory, and he went by Mr. Gregory or Nicholas Solo. And he went to IWF, and that's when I started meeting up with Chris Steeler and Fala, and that was in 2005. So I've known them for a long amount of time, and so him, Fala, Steeler,
Donovan,
Vic Voorhees, me and I'm pretty sure me and Donovan were at like parties, but it's not like me and him were never like kind of like on a conversational level or anything like that. I think when I started hanging out with all of them, I think Donovan was taking a break.
Really?
So I think I remember seeing one match. It was Donovan versus Kevin Knight in like a street fight or something like that at IWF.
That's pretty interesting, man.
And then so once One Brick Down got done, I was like, all right, I'm gonna jump into wrestling. And a lot of my friends like Nick Gregory and Vic Voorhees, Playboy and stuff. They were like, all right, like they started training me and stuff, and I would go to the indie shows, and the Steeler would help train me and everything like that. So I kind of had like the usual indie guy training of showing up to a show, helping put the ring together, getting some ring time with some of my friends, and them kind of showing me the ropes. And then I got a call. Actually, I met Ref Ryan T. At one of my friend's Halloween parties, and he was dating a girl that lived in my town or whatever. And he's like, you wrestle? Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm training. I'm trying to get into it and stuff. And he's like, all right, well, I can get you a match. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? And it was for UWA. And so the match was a 4-on-4 tag. So my first match ever was at UWA in 2012. And it was me, Vertigo, I can't remember this one kid, and actually, I can't remember the two other people that were on our team, but I remember Vertigo because he's still around. And against Brandon the Bull, John Rome, Mike Davis, and there was a third. Oh, what was the fourth one? Damn it. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Slips. That's crazy, man. Like you were in the ring with some of these guys now who are legit all-stars at UWA Elite. You know? And including yourself, too.
Well, I wouldn't consider myself an all-star.
Nah, of course you, man.
I'm a top mid-level guy.
So, Lukas, man, that is a crazy story how you became a wrestler, how you had your first match, and kind of like a lucky break, right? That somebody's looking out for you.
It's really about who you know.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, looking back at it, what made you become a wrestling fan, and what made you want to start that journey into training?
I think it's I've always been just the entertainer part of the family. Like, my brother's like the brains. My sister was like kind of artsy and stuff, but she's got more brains and stuff, and I'm just kind of like, hey, I don't got a lot of book smarts. I got some street smarts to me, but my whole thought process is entertaining people, and like I gravitated towards wrestling, I think, just because of the sheer it takes everything. Like it's a live action stunt show with like, it's got comedy stuff, it's got drama stuff, it's acting, it's like when you hear people say, oh, wrestling's so stupid, it's fake. It's like, oh, dude, how's the Avengers? Oh, it was amazing. Oh yeah, go fuck yourself. It's all fake.
I wish I could say that to people.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but for me, I think wrestling was just like, it was also like a good like escape, just especially because wrestling was there before I learned how to play any music. Like, my brother would watch WCW more than WWF when it was on, and I remember when I found out about WWF, I was like, there's a whole nother thing? Like, there's a whole nother group of people? Because my whole thing was all the cruiserweights in WCW, like Juventud and Psychosis and Chris Jericho and Dean Malenko and stuff like that. And I loved all that a lot more. And then when he switched to WWF, I was like, oh, like there's this cool other side of things that it's more like to like acting to the higher extent of stuff. And the matches were better, especially when WCW's matches were starting to get really, really bad.
Yeah. I think a lot of people can attest to that.
Yeah.
The thing I like about you, man, is that you really have these tattoos that really make you who you are, right?
Yeah.
And they're music tattoos, right? Can you talk about what you have and what
Oh, yeah.
defines you?
So, like, I've always been obsessed with marine biology and stuff like that in the ocean. So, like, because it blows my mind that we know more about, like, outer space than we do about what's at the bottom of the ocean and stuff, you know, what's on our own Earth. So, I always just thought, like, marine biology was just the coolest shit. So, like, I got the anglerfish, which is, like, the deep sea kind of, like, really ugly thing with the little spotlight on his forehead. So I got that, and I kind of made it a little trippy and everything, just because the real anglerfish is just like a dull brown. It's just so boring as a tattoo. So if you make it just kind of like some cosmic-looking weird thing, I think it comes out better. And then my favorite movie is Jaws, so I got the Jaws jaw on my forearm with a little skull in the middle. And then this one I actually couldn't think like I have a skull crab on my wrist, and I couldn't think of anything to put there. So like. My tattoo artist is very good about like just coming up with cool ideas, and he's like, "What about this?" And I was like, "Dude, that's fucking awesome!" Like just slap that on me. And then I got a treasure map around my my one arm, because I actually got that because I was like, I haven't seen anybody with a treasure map, so I'm gonna get a treasure map.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that's pretty cool.
And I got a big old octopus, my big puss. That I got just because I wanted something like cool with the shoulder, you know, like it take up my whole shoulder. My chest tattoo is all skeleton pirates, but that actually comes from a t-shirt I had when I was in high school. That was like my lucky t-shirt, and like a lot of cool shit's happened to me wearing that shirt, you know what I mean? So once it started to get so dull and faded, I actually just wound up just like gave it to my tattoo guy. I was like, "Here, put this on my chest, and so I can get rid of it, and I'll still always have it." And then so this is my first one. The musical half sleeve on my right arm. This guitar is for my uncle who passed away when I was like 16. He's like one that really helped me get into music. And then the rest of it's kind of like random notes and shit. And then my recent ones are it's not done yet, but so I have my favorite band's Metallica. So I have the star on my elbow. I have the Injustice for All statue on the top of my forearm, and the Master of Puppets gravestones going around my wrist.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, you've seen all these people here. You know, they're sticking with wrestling. You stepped away for a little bit. Why was that?
Dude, as worryful as it is, like usually like I started late. You know, a lot later than the UWA guys and some of my other friends. You know, a lot of these guys started like 16, 17. They sneak onto their weight. Some of them sneak on to shows at like 15 and stuff. And I didn't start until 25. So like, I was already kind of like, my body was like beat up from just doing like just band stuff. And because like when I play, I headbang pretty hard and stuff. So like my back's kind of been screwed up before, and my knees take a beating, like jumping around and shit. So when I joined UWA, I was already kind of like half beaten up, but I got used to it and everything was cool and everything was going good. And as much as I love doing the fish, I think the fish is what kind of screwed me, because like taking so many face plants and missing and stuff like that, just my knees are shot. Like I haven't been to the doctor to get them checked out, but like my dad's 65 and I'm 30, and he's got the same knees that I do, and he's getting double knee replacement surgery. And I kind of don't want to go to the doctor because I don't want to hear that I need double knee replacement surgery. But I think that's what it came down to, man. It's just like, as much as like, I'll get like when Swan and Corvus called me up to say like, hey, like, do you want to be in the Mike Davis Memorial? I was like, hell yeah, because I hadn't wrestled since I think November or December of last year. So I was like, all right, my body's been doing all right, and then we could jump back in for that one match. And then like the next day, I think like my knee was just like a softball sized thing of water on my knee, and as much as I want my body to do it, I don't know if my body can do it.
Yeah. Walking away from wrestling, how was that mentally on you?
It sucks. Mainly because like there's the difference between in music and wrestling is like when you when you come out and you start playing a song, like nobody's like, say you're an unknown band, and like you start playing, there's usually like nobody staring at you. Everybody's outside smoking. You know what I mean? Like people don't know who the hell you are. A wrestling show, like everyone's kind of just, they kind of wait and see what to make of you. Like music is very brutal in the sense of like they won't even come in and pay attention if they don't know who the hell you are. Like wrestling, it comes to the show and you step through the curtain and like right there is kind of like, you know, if they don't know you, make them know you, you know, and that's what I like to think that I did a good job at doing. Like I had a flagrant enough personality where I could eventually turn somebody's head and have them look at me and get me going. I mean, I think the best thing I've ever heard told to me was from Tommy Dreamer, and he was like, "Hey, listen, man, like you got something out there. Like he's like, you could go somewhere with this. He's like, you just gotta work on your body because it's a very physical, appearance-wise business. And he's like, if you work on your body, he's like, you could go places. And then I just didn't work on my body.
Well, I mean, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you could see I saw you at SWF a couple times,
yeah.
WA Elite. You know, you did have an attraction to you. People did want to see you. You alluded to your finisher, the fish.
Yeah.
You know, which people should go and look on YouTube or the UWA Elite Network, and some of those old matches, and they could see the fish in action. It's the
best.
How did that come about? The fish.
The most devastating, impressive top rope maneuver in the history of professional wrestling. The fish actually. So when I was probably just even a kid, like I would do that. I would love jumping off diving boards and stuff at community pools and everything. And so that was one thing I kind of just learned how to do, was just to flail my body like a fish, like jumping off a diving board. So I've been doing it for years into pools. And it always got like just a funny pop from like my friends and stuff. And then I had done it, I think 3 years ago in my friend's pool. And it was the week before the fair. And this was when I was still in Kentucky Bred with Justin. And so my friend was like, dude, you should definitely do that at the show. And I was like, you think? And he's like, dude, that would be the best move in the fucking world. I was like, all right. So when we got to that show, I forget who I was. I know what's that guy's name? He's in CZW right now. He was just doing stuff with Kirk.
Christian Navarro?
No, Jimmy Lloyd.
Jimmy Lloyd. Okay.
So Jimmy Lloyd was in the match, and I forget who he was tagging with, but it was me and Justin versus Jimmy Lloyd and somebody, and I was like, Justin, just like, I'm going to go to the top rope, Lloyd move, like, you know, but like, I'm going to do this move and just wait for it. He's like, okay. So I went up there, I got to the top, we're going fishing, and I did the fish and landed on my face, and I got a big pop from the whole tent at the fair, and from then on, I just kept doing it, and I also just kept missing. It would kind of be like, who was the one that always did it? Flair would always do the axe handle and never hit anybody with it.
Always.
So it would kind of be like that. Like, I'd always go for the fish, and I'd always miss. And it just became just, you know, just a funny thing to look at, you know, like somebody flailing like a fish in the air. And then I got pissed off, I think it was last year, when that viral video of like these dudes are like, oh, do the silly salmon or whatever like that, and they're just jumping into like pools and shit doing it. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
The other thing I like about you, man, is your Instagram is always hilarious.
Oh, thanks, dude.
You know, either the love tub or the you know, you were telling the story about somebody sneezing while you were on the toilet. Just some good ones, like when someone asked you to join the gospel band or something like that, right?
Yeah.
This stuff really happened to you?
Oh yeah. There was a good period when I was working for a auto parts delivery company, and so, you know, and that was right when Instagram started doing 15-second videos, and right away I was like, all right, like the first video I made was like, I'm sorry for all the people that are gonna, you know, that are gonna have to see me and deal with this, but I'm gonna be making a lot of these, so if you don't like it, fucking too bad. And I just started making I started making like 4 or 5 a day, just like stupid stuff. Like, and then I was actually getting a lot of followers. Like people just like, not like Instagram crazy famous followers, but like, you know, like I got like I think I actually deleted a couple people, but I used to have like 2,000 followers, which is big for like just a normal like local dude that doesn't do shit really other than make stupid videos. But I remember there was one time I was actually out to I was at Quaker Steak and Lube on Route 1. And I was eating wings with this chick that I was dating at the time, and I was leaving, and some lady pulled me aside, and she's like, "Oh, are you Snake Plissken from Instagram?"
Really?
Yeah. I was like, yeah, what's up? She's like, "Oh, my husband loves your videos. Can you take a picture with my daughter?"
Oh my God.
This daughter's an infant, bro. And I'm like, I'm holding this baby girl. I have a black eye. Like, just, I forget what match I was in, but I did a move, and I wound up catching an elbow to the eye. My eye was just like Becky Lynch awful.
Really?
Like, just so purple, so bloated. And this lady was like, "Take a picture with my daughter." And I'm like, "I don't know you, but fine." But
they tag you at least?
yeah, they tag
That's
me.
awesome.
Yeah, I'll show you the picture after the show if I can find it. But like, yeah, so like, I just love making. I just love making people laugh. You know, I've tried stand-up comedy a couple times, and my sense of humor doesn't translate to like standing up and telling jokes that way. I'm very much like a random, or like I'm good with just like on the spot like quips and just witty stuff, but like coming up with like actual stand-up routine, I'm dog shit. It's terrible. Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like the one thing you can't do, right?
Yeah.
You know, besides that, I know you can do impressions. You've had you do one before.
Yeah.
What other impressions can you do?
Oh, what other impressions? I don't want to be too loud in your house. I started doing Donald Trump lately just because it's so
great.
It's so good. Yeah. There's so many things going on. I don't think that you realize how extremely, amazingly humble I am. I'm the most humble in the history of humble. That's stupid shit. Because that one's super easy. You always have to sound like, you know, you're just like, you're kind of slow and you have like a lisp. I'm trying to think of one other.
Or really intelligent.
You're really intelligent. Yeah.
Depending on who's ever listening, you might.
Or I tried doing Hulk Hogan for a while. He's tough. He's just like, "Yeah, dude. Yeah, brother. Yeah, man. Like, let me tell you something, brother. One day, dude." That what is it? I used to do Goldar from Power Rangers.
Really?
Yeah, that one's tough. Oh, the Power Rangers. But then again, that I'll do that so long and my voice will be so hoarse.
My favorite was backstage, and I heard you doing the Rob one, and I actually do that because he's so funny. Like
I did Rob to his face a couple of times, and he's just like, "Shut the fuck up." I remember. I think there was the first show where where a lot of the Wrestle Pro guys were starting to work with SWF again, and it was like. Kevin Matthews was there, and I think Moff was there, and there was a couple people. But I started doing the Fury impression backstage, and Moff was like, "Nah, you're over with me, bro. You're good."
As long as you're over with that guy, you're good, right?
I was gonna say, like, every time I've had an interaction with Moff, it's been good. I don't think I have any bad blood with anybody.
I will tell you that it was one of the most intimidating interviews because I did one with Moff and Mac at the same time at Jersey All Pro, and oh man, I was quivering. It was like, he's, you know, and it's so funny because like I could talk to anybody and they're like, just get out the questions, and I was like, nah, body's saying that right now.
You know, like
I think it's the reputation.
Yeah,
of those guys.
You know, it's well, those guys are like, how I've come to know them. Like, I'm a very goofy dude. So if I'm when I was being goofy around them and they were just kind of feeding off it, I was like, all right, they're fine. Like,
oh yeah,
like, but like I can understand where like any other person, like, you know, if you're just a quiet kind of dude and you look at this guy and you're like, I don't want to go near this fucking guy.
Right? And those are the two dudes
Yeah,
you don't want.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what it was is like I think like for me being like just kind of that, like I was only doing UWA and SWF for the most part. Like there was a couple times I went down and did like the Crossroads Wrestling in like South Jersey, and I think I did a couple ECPW shows.
Mm-hmm.
And but like me, I don't like to burn bridges or
Yeah, of course.
kind of like what I see like going on a lot right now is like brand loyalty when like you don't necessarily like there's a difference between being respectful and like being only loyal to one thing. And it's like if you're not a signed dude or a signed contract dude, like why are you shitting on other places that like if you are the product as a wrestling, you know what I mean? Like I'm supposed to be selling myself. If I'm going to go anywhere, I have to put myself in these other places. Like this one place isn't going to put me in the other place and try and like take all the, you know, thing from it. I'm the person. I do it. I do everything. I take all the bumps. I get hurt. All that other shit. So like when I see like so many people like saying like, oh, I only work for this place, or I only work for this place, or a lot of it was, I remember for a while it was like, you know, it was all fuck SWF and everything, and I'm like, why? Like just come have fun. Like like part of I never got to the point, luckily, where I felt like jaded and pissed off or like maybe that was part of my music background is because playing in all these hardcore bands and stuff, I'm used to not getting paid for shows. So like when I started wrestling and I'm not getting paid, I wasn't thinking anything of it. I'm just like, all right, it's a show, you know, go out, have fun, you know, do your best, make it, you know, entertain people and go home. And then when everybody was kind of like, you know, oh, Rob Fury didn't pay me this day, or this person didn't pay me, or whatever, I'm just like, and did you have fun? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, if you were going out there and they were like, all right, you're gonna be in a, you know, whatever death match with somebody, then you go, yeah, sure, I need some fucking money to pay for my stitches. But like, if I'm going out there and it's like, hey, you're in a tag match with this person, just go out for 10 minutes and have fun. I don't give a shit if you pay me or not. I just want to, the crowd's good. I just want to have fun. And I think that's the problem, was like so many people were just on about not getting paid for certain things or whatever, and it became a very like, oh, if you work for this guy, then fuck you, and you're not working for us, and then you work for this person, and you can't work for us either. And it's like, dude, just why you cutting people off? If they just want to work and entertain people, why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, you are not that person. You can't, like, you shouldn't be able to depict like why someone can't work for you because they feel like entertaining somebody else.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, you got to work with a couple legends like New Jack, Nikolai Volkov. I mean, how was it working with those guys? And any dream scenarios that you got to live out?
Haku, definitely, because when I was in when I was really little watching WCW, Haku was one of my favorites. Or Meng as he was, doing the Tongan through the old wooden chairs. I remember that. So when I was in the match with the Haku, when that was told me, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like that was something so cool. And then the Sandman, I was a big Sandman fan. So like when we got to work with the Sandman, even him just coming out and just caning us, I was like, this sucks, but I'm really happy about it.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. The New Jack one was really funny, cause when I got to the build, I was already super nervous. Like I had actually messaged Cannonball on Facebook, and I was like, bro, I'm super fucking nervous. Like, is there anything you can tell me? He's like, bro, it's super easy. Just listen, do whatever he says, and you'll be golden. Don't even worry about it.
Won't be murdered.
Yeah. Well, because that's the thing is, like, I've got all my friends, like, fucking Corvus and, like, some other people being like, dude, he's gonna murder you.
Oh, my God.
So, like, I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna die. Today's when I die.
Yeah.
So, like, I get to the show, and I'm already nervous, and I'm already half, like, out the door, like, I don't want to fucking do this. And, First thing I see New Jack do is go to the bar and get like a fucking mixed drink and sit down. And I look at Fury and I'm like, if he has one more fucking drink, I'm leaving. And so we get to the back and we're going. Me, Justin, and Mikey Pacifica are going through the match, and New Jack comes to the back. And we're like, hey, New Jack, we're gonna be working today. He's like, all right, cool. He's like, what do you guys got planned? So he's like, all right, we got this spot or whatever like that. He goes to the table, your music hits, and that's whenever you want. He just goes, good. We're like, damn. So, like, we go through this whole thing, and, we're just so it turns out, it ends up being me and New Jack working pretty much the whole match. And so it comes to, we're talking about the finish, and he goes, he looks at Justin, he goes, so what's your finish? He goes, oh, well, me and Mikey have this thing planned on the outside, so it's just going to be you and Drew. And
Oh, my God.
And I was like, you motherfuckers, man. Like, you threw me to New Jack. How dare you? I thought we were friends, bro.
That's hilarious. They left you to defend against New Jack. That's hilarious.
So New Jack goes, all right, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to send you the ropes, catch you belly to belly, come off the top rope with a chair, crack you, 1, 2, 3. And I go, perfect. Well, sounds good. He goes, people, they read all these things about me, like me intentionally hurting people and stuff like that. And he's like, I just want, like, those were the kids that, like, I would get to the back and they would have no respect, and that they would tell me what to do. And he's like, motherfucker, I've been doing this for so many years. He's like, you don't tell me what to do. So I was like, yeah. Do whatever you want, man. So, like, but in that match, it was super easy. Like, once we got into it, he was just like, all right, like, he'd hit me, go take a walk, sell around the, whatever like that. It wound up being super chill, super easy. Definitely not as much as I was worried about, And then the worst match I ever was in was actually that Nikolai Volkov match, because so Nikolai Volkov's there, and Eric Sims is there too, and he's trying to help plan Nikolai's match, and we're just like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like he's the legend, he's the pro, he knows what he's doing. Let him depict what he wants to do. And this one, Kentucky Bred, was 3 people. It was me, Georgie, and Clay, and so it was supposed to be Nikolai and Sandman. So Sandman's late. We're planning this whole fucking match. It's like 10 minutes till bell time, or 10 minutes till curtain for us. Sandman finally shows up, and he's like, all right, what we doing? He's like, all right, we're going to do this, He's like, no. This is what's going to happen. We're going to do it, we're going to go in, we're going to work a little bit. I'm going to tag in, I'll cane you, White Russian, 1, 2, 3, we'll go home, we have some beers. And we're just like, whatever, dude. So we get into the ring, and so we had planned it was going to be like, so Justin's in, Clay, and the whole plan was, Justin holds Nikolai moves, I clock Justin, Nikolai takes over. I go to clock Nikolai doesn't move. So,
oh my God.
So this is like maybe like only like my 3rd month wrestling.
Ooh,
like I
wow.
I don't know what I'm doing still, you know what I mean? So I just move around Nikolai and hit Justin, so it looks super bad. And then Nikolai grabs my arms behind my back and just walks me over to Sandman and goes, give him the cane.
Oh my God.
So Sandman canes me in the fucking top of the skull. And I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I think Georgie tagged himself in, and I just laid on the ground until the end of the match. I was like, I am not dealing with this shit.
That's crazy. It's funny that you talked about Kentucky. How was it working with Clay Sawyer and Vincenzo, and knowing that, looking back at it now, that Clay Sawyer would probably be one of the greatest rivals in your career?
Oh, I love Clay so much. That whole run was just so much fun. So what happened was, I had wrestled for UWA that one match in 2012. I had come back in 2013 for a match against Brian Brass. It was like a one-off. I think it was at Last Breath. And then 2014 came around, and Swan was like, hey, we got somebody that's kind of doing something like you were doing. We're going to come in and going to make you guys a tag team. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I came in, I met Justin, and it was kind of awkward just beginning because, like, we had never been in tag team wrestling before. So, like, just trying to get used to that whole dynamic of everything. And so we wound up being very good friends and just hitting it off pretty good. And he's about as goofy and wacky as I am. So that was going good for a while. And then I think I forget which fair it was, but we were in a hardcore match against the Rogues. And the DJ, RJ, and Magic were champions, I think. And Rogues were number one contenders. So DJ, RJ came out, distract them. We hit them with chairs. We won. And then I think the next night, the Rogues won the tag championships. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, that should kind of like put us in line for like some type of tag shot or something like that. And then that's when Georgie joined us. So Georgie joined us, and that's when we found out that they were getting the trios titles. So that whole trios tournament was kind of like to cement us as like a faction, and to make us like a big standout or whatever. And I loved working with all three of those guys. Like, that was so much fun. And then eventually what happened was the way Vinny got involved was I had a scheduling conflict with one of my bands. And they were like, oh, okay, well, we still need somebody. And they were like, all right, we'll call up Vinny Cenzo and get him over here. He kind of fits the whole dynamic of everything. So he filled in for me on one show. And then the next thing you know, it's a 4-person faction. And we just kind of go with it for a while. And I had always talked to Corvus about doing the kilt gimmick and everything like that. So eventually it came down to one of the days being like, all right, tonight's the night where, you go for the fish, you miss, you lose. Like, Justin doesn't let them come in and break up the pin or anything. And then they turn on you, and then you start this whole road down, Lukas Finnegan instead of Luke Finn. And then I think that the first promo I did with the kilt gimmick was just so bad. Like, I stumble over my words. Like, people were like, I was like, oh, I was adopted. I'm not really a redneck. And everyone's like, this is stupid. But once I started working with it and just having fun with it, I think I won people over with the whole, and also I got to be me. I got to be me a lot more because with the redneck thing, like I came out with the whole moonshine jug and everything and acting all fucking goofy and redneck and whatever. And once I got the kilt on, I was just I could just have fun and just do pretty much whatever I wanted.
Yeah. Have you thought about maybe just coming back as a tag team wrestler? Because that'd be a little less stress, right, on your body.
Right.
Or
I have. I remember there was once one guy, actually when I was taking a break wrestling. Actually, one of the reasons I also took a break wrestling the first time was actually when I'm getting the DUI.
Oh.
Which is, funny. But with that, it was the DUI, and it was just like, I just didn't feel right. Like, my head wasn't in the right place or anything like that, and I had been unemployed for a certain amount of time, and it was just a bunch of dumb shit. But with the tag team thing, I think there was also, the one guy who was like, I saw you working the Irish gimmick, I do an Irish gimmick too, if you want to be a tag team, we can pretty much be champions over at this place. And I'm like, it's so far away. I was like, it's like an hour and a half drive, and I don't feel like doing that for every show. And 2, I was taking a break, and I was like, nah, man, I'm good. Honestly, if I was to come back and tag with anybody, I wouldn't tag with anybody other than Justin. Like, I just had so much fun with that dude. Just, Justin or Vinny. I was obviously Justin more because I was with him longer. But, like, Vinny's got the same, like, fucked up sense of humor that I do and stuff, and we liked working together. Actually, that was one of the most fun matches I had was me and Vinny Cenzo at like, this kids camp thing that UWA did one time. That was, like, one of the funnest things in the world. Kids were super into it. Like, we just did, like, super marquee finishes. It It was like, I'm going to hit you with a Stone Cold Stunner, then a Rock Bottom, then a People's Elbow, then you get up, I hit you with a Pedigree. like just like stupid stuff like that. And then at the end, like we were just going to end it with him like falling over. And then these kids started chanting for an RKO.
Really?
So I was like, Vinny, RKO, brother.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was so
That's
fun.
awesome, man. You know, looking back at it now, you can see that you have fun doing anything you do. Talk about the Newborn Kings. What is it about this band, and where do you think you can go with this band?
Honestly, I think it has a lot more radio market value to it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the bands I've been in just like only would be like 89.5 WSOU, like screaming like metal stuff, and it's hard to market these days when everything sounds like fucking Imagine Dragons and all this other shit. So with Newborn Kings, I think we do a good mix of like, I wouldn't call us Queen, but like how Queen would like have different types of music, like he's got like an opera type sound, and then he's got like a cool like metal kind of like rock and roll sound, and then they've got all this other stuff going on. Like, we write what we like in music.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think a lot of problems right now is with so many bands, they get locked into, you have to sound this way forever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, we play so many different styles of music, especially with Newborn Kings. When I joined them, it was just a cover band. They had some originals, but like they would just be mostly bar cover stuff. And then when I joined, we started writing more and more songs, because just I have the biggest musical ADD in the world when it comes to playing and like writing.
Mm-hmm.
So like every practice, I was coming up with like a new riff, a new song, or something like that. So we probably have like 20 songs, and some of them are on like the back burner, some of them are on like my voice memos that we've totally forgotten about. Some, you know, and but I think with this band, it's just like the singer's got a good voice, the drummer's got a groove to him, and like I think it just makes more sense as a like radio market value that this could go somewhere. But I'm also the youngest guy in the band. Okay. So like you know, if these other guys wanted to be like, hey, like we're tired of doing this shit, like I've got plenty of time to go find something else. Mm-hmm. But we do have a lot of good songs written right now. We've been working on this fucking album since like we started recording it in March, and it's still not done because it's expensive to record these damn things, you know. So we've been waiting to get it all mixed and mastered and all that other shit. So it's really just, you know.
Yeah, it's something that you just can't put overnight.
Yeah.
You have to work on this, right?
Yeah. A lot of little tweaks and just expensive, man. Like we're all like, like granted me, I'm, you know, I got my own like bills or whatever like that, as minimal as they may be, but like, you know, our singer's got like, you know, 2 kids and a wife and a house he's got to pay for. Like,
yeah, sure.
Bass player's got bills. Our drummer's got like a kid and bills he's got to worry about, you know. And with every song like that has to be mixed, it's $300 just to mix, and that's not even mastering. That wasn't even how much it was to record it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. And that's cool, man, that you actually have been putting in the time to actually make an album, and you're not just rushing it, you know, just to get it done.
And I think that was the main thing too. Was I you know, I told UWA when I was leaving, I was like, I'm going to concentrate on music, like, because, you know, it's so many times they're like, oh, you know, you hear a guy's going to retire or you're going to take time off and he's back in like a month. I'm like, no. So like in a year I've wrestled once or twice. Like, other than people that would be like, oh yeah, I'm taking time off, and they're back in a month and they're doing like a whole week shot of stuff.
Have you ever thought about maybe the band playing you to the ring or playing it just at the show, UWA Elite show? You know, just to get some advertisement or something.
Like, I thought it would be cool, but the amount of time it would take to set up shit and make sure everything sounds nice and whatever, it wouldn't make financial sense.
Okay.
Because, like, you know, I'll play UWA for free, but, you know, trying to get these other guys to you know, to dish out their time for free is not a doable situation.
Even if you had like a table, you could leave your CDs there. Or
I understand completely. It's just like, you know, especially when we play cover gigs. Like, if we're like, they wouldn't find it and I even me somewhat wouldn't find it necessary or not necessary, but like it wouldn't make sense to set all this stuff up, play one song, and then dip. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Or like even like if we played a show, because I think Colin West, I think it was Colin that like asked like, hey, would your band be interested in doing like this benefit thing or whatever like that? And I'm like, all right, well, I can do it for free, but here's what my band charges. And then it's just like, never mind.
Yeah.
You know, because like as a band as a whole, like we usually charge like $400 to $500. And we'll play for 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like we'll do like three 1 hour sets and take like 15-minute breaks in between.
That'd be cool if you did that.
Yeah.
But you played everybody else to the ring. That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be cool. Yeah, but that'd also be like, hey, here's the songs we know. You got to pick from these songs. We're not learning like whatever.
Yeah. Even if you just do like just some beat drum.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just some live entrance music. So let me ask you this: what are some of the best ribs that you've had?
The best ribs?
Yeah, that you pulled or you've seen that you could talk about.
Ah, shit.
Or I'm sure everyone else there has a good.
Has a good rib.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough, I don't do ribs so much as I do just like fucking around with people, just making them laugh in the back. I've never been one to like prank people because I know I don't like getting pranked.
Okay.
So I know that, like, if I was to rib somebody, that shit would come back at me so much harder, and I'm just gonna avoid it. Like, I'd very much like just to make people laugh and kind of just hang out, much more than try and fuck with them or anything.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We got to talk about a couple of these matches because, this one match in particular, I always feel like they always put people in the right situations.
Okay.
It's you versus Arcadia and Jake Chambers. These two guys are so talented, and you're no exception as well. And what a great match that was.
Dude, I was so fucking nervous for that thing. Mainly because they had been there at UWA for so long and been working so much longer than me, and they worked that style. Like me, I was just kind of always just like a brawler. I had my one little like flippy do like Drake. I called my little flipping elbow the Drake Chambers.
Really?
Because we were just screwing around at UWA one day, and I was like, oh look, I can do Drake Chambers, and that turned into me doing that elbow. But like when I saw that that's the match I was gonna be in, I had never been more like nervous because I know how they are in the sense of planning things. Mm-hmm. So when it's kind of like when I'm used to being like, we're gonna do this, and we kind of like fill in stuff in between like while you're in the ring, and then to go to those guys where it's like you got like remember everything in this specific order or else everything's screwed up or whatever. So like that was just a giant like a worry on my brain that like I was gonna screw something up or I was gonna be the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
So I loved it. It definitely came out a lot better than I thought it was gonna. Mainly because me, I'm my worst enemy when it comes to my own like critique and everything. I always think I'm the shits. So like when that was going on and they were I would always kind of rely on like Corvus more than Dave Swan because Dave can brush it off pretty quick. Dave, how was it? That was good. It's like, come on, man. So like if you ask Corvus and hey Corvus, how was it? I think it was shit, man. I didn't like it at all.
Really?
And I'll be like, well, at least you're honest with me.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that you get two perspectives like that because one's a little bit more encouraging, right?
Yeah.
And then and so is Corvus, I guess, in his own way.
Yeah.
He wants you to improve.
Yeah, Corvus was very much like, especially with my character and stuff, like, because SWF, you have full range to do whatever the hell you want. Like, when it comes to music, when it comes to your entrance, when it comes to what you wear, your whole
does that
gimmick,
help?
Everything. It does, because you're allowed your expression, but it doesn't. It doesn't help if your expression sucks. So like with UWA, Eric Corvus is very instrumental in helping people with like music, and like I've never picked my entrance music at UWA. I've never do like backstage anything or anything like that, or like when I was like coming out with just the kilt gimmick, Eric was like, hey, like we gotta send it to this dude, we gotta get this thing made up, you need to get green laces because it's gotta match the kilt gimmick. And I'm like, all right, and
details, right?
Yeah, so it's the little details that like you don't think about. And like I was like, hey man, what if I come out to like this song? He's like, what does that have to do with your gimmick? I'm like, I just like the song. He's like, yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. He's like, that's stupid. Don't do that. So it's stuff like that. It's kind of like just sometimes being brutally honest is a lot more helpful than just, being passively positive about whatever. You know what I mean?
That's kind of brilliant that the UWA Elite actually takes the time, and not just with you, but it seems like everybody. They have like this mindset where,
well, they
build a person.
They want it to legitimately be like a WWE type setting, like where if you want to make it in this business, you have to get used to this shit, like people telling you how your entrance needs to be, like this is your music, like this is what you need to do, like you need to get used to people pushing you this way, because if you make it to the big time, it's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
like you're going to be you're going to be under the scope of 40 something producers that are trying to pull you every which way, and you kind of just got to roll with the punches.
Yeah, and if you say no, they won't pay.
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy how they think like that. Another match that you've had that I really enjoyed watching was you and versus TJ Blade. This guy, what a 360 from when you faced him then to what he was doing now. I mean, this guy was just the UWA Elite champion. Yeah. He carried pretty much this whole season on his back. How was it getting in the ring with TJ?
I loved it. I mean, like, we were actually supposed to wrestle another time other than that. We were supposed to wrestle again at SWF, and I forget what happened, but he couldn't make it. So I wound up having to... I forget who I had to wrestle in place of him. But, yeah, I love wrestling TJ. Like, he's just very much the same like me. Like, just we want to do the best to entertain the crowd. And, like, it was kind of just like, whatever you think is going to pop the crowd, all right, let's go in that direction. Like, let's do that. So, like, I remember, that was the fair when and the match before that, he did, like, the entire, like, Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair spot with, I think it was, Jordan Oliver. Like, the whole, like, I'm sorry, I love you, super kick thing.
That's one way of doing that, right?
Like, when you just want to have fun, and it really just becomes, like, just why would you overthink it? Just, what do you want to do? Just, like, let's go ahead and do it. Like, you don't got to do, like, super crazy amounts of shit.
Yeah. If you had one more match and one more dream match, who would you want to face?
Oh, God. Yeah. One more dream match. Steeler.
Steeler?
Because we had talked because that was actually a plan. Actually, you know what? Steeler, and if I had two, it'd be Steeler and my friend Nick Gregory again. So Steeler, the plan was when he came to UWA, he was it was supposed to be a thing where, like, he was going to say, like, he helped train me and stuff, and it was going to build to being, like, a student versus teacher type of match or something like that. But he wound up screwing something up in some tag match, and Corvus or Swan didn't like it, and he got kicked out of UWA for whatever fucking reason. And so that didn't get to happen. And then he doesn't want to work for Fury, because I think he was on one of those shows where he didn't pay people. So Steeler kind of kept a grudge for that. And but, like, I would love to work Steeler. Because I'd learn a lot more. He'd definitely be able to carry me once I got too winded and lost my breath. Because for the longest time, my biggest problem was just I had no air. Like, when it came to working, man, like, I'd get blown up so fast, and like 5 minutes into the match, I'd be, like, dead. I remember one time I wrestled Joey Adams at, like, some backyard party, and we did I think I was probably at my heaviest, and we We did just a quick, just tackle, drop down, hip toss, whatever. He took a powder or something, and I couldn't breathe.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like we've barely done anything. We've got 4 more minutes to go, and I'm hacking, trying to breathe right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
So Lucas, where can people get you on social media and your band if they want to connect or listen to you?
Or
see me,
yeah. So social media right now, Snake Plissken, Snake_Plissken is my Instagram. Because of one of the greatest movies of all time, Escape from New York. My Facebook is Drew Haffer, but don't add me on my Facebook unless I know you. What else? My band, Newborn Kings, or on Instagram, Newborn Kings Music. And then I got. So you said this is coming. You said this is coming out in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm trying to think what shows I have in 2 weeks. I think December 7th, my band Newborn Kings is going to be playing Frenchie's in Roosevelt Park, and I'm trying to think what else I'm doing. And December 21st, Newborn Kings will be playing Butch Coles in Rahway. So that's those shows. And then, you know what's funny? Like, even with me saying, like, I haven't wrestled in a while, and like I'm taking a break and stuff. Like, I still, other than Brawl for It All, which Swan contacted me about, I couldn't do because my band had a show.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, other than, like, Swan, like, nobody's contacted me to come wrestle either. So it's kind of like, like, if you really want me to, like, put on the boots again, I will. If it doesn't contradict with my band show or something like that. But, like, I'm not coming back for, like, a full-time anything or like I'll go for, like, a one-off every couple months or something like that. But I'm not looking for, like, a full-time return at all. I got so much shit going on with these bands, man. I'm doing Newborn Kings is my usual band. I'm doing this, like, kind of like an emo night Brooklyn type thing. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this for this company called Futuristic Feels. That one's it's gonna be past by the time this airs, but on this Saturday, and so that's doing good. And then I got my other old hardcore band, Saints. Mm-hmm. We're doing and Cankersore. We're doing like a reunion show in Clark in January. So I've got a lot of band practices going on right now. That's just been draining the hell out of me because I'm actually from here. I'm actually going to do another band practice to do the emo one. That's for this Saturday.
Okay, great.
So I'm going from here, band practice until like midnight, and then I got to practice all day tomorrow, and then Friday I got to work 11 hours, go to band practice for the emo night thing, and then after that I go play a Newborn King show Friday night at Butch Coles. And then the next day, I work 11 hours and go play the emo show.
Well, I'm already tired. Yeah. I don't know how you're going to do that, man.
It's going to be tough.
But, Lucas, thank you so much for taking out the time. And hopefully, more success will come your way in this music field.